Today I want to demonstrate the Ansible Service Broker running on top of a vanilla Kubernetes cluster. So first I'm just going to show what I have running for pods in my cluster. I have the Ansible Service Broker running the Ansible Service Broker namespace. You can see the service catalog running in the catalog namespace there, the API server and controller manager. And then these are my kube system pods, which is just the standard setup that I got for when I set up Kubernetes using the kube atom script. This is everything I got by default, so the API server, the controller manager, scheduler, etc. And you can get Kubernetes cluster however you want to, minikube, local cluster up, or whatever it is. Any of the scripts that you have to set up Kubernetes will work just fine for this. So what I'm going to show next is a view of the APBs that are available in the catalog. So for this demonstration, I'm going to be using two APBs from here, the MediaWiki and Postgres APBs. So the APBs are just, they're Ansible playbook bundles. They are a set of playbooks that are in containers that are representations of applications. So when you deploy these APBs, they're going to deploy an application for you. So the MediaWiki is going to deploy a MediaWiki application. The Postgres is going to deploy an instance of Postgres. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to provision MediaWiki and I'm going to provision Postgres to get those apps running. Then I'm going to bind Postgres to MediaWiki. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show the difference of MediaWiki without Postgres and what happens when it has a Postgres instance on the back end. And then following that, I'll deprovision everything and clean everything up. So first, to run this, I'm going to use the framework that we use for our CI in the Ansible Service Broker community. And all this is a library that is at this link right here. And you can run this if you want to in your repo. Pretty much what it does is it abstracts the APIs that we use for launching APBs through the catalog. And like you can see here, what I'm going to do, like I said, is I'm going to provision a MediaWiki APB, Postgres. I'm going to perform a bind, and then I have a little script that's going to verify, unbind, deprovision, etc. So to show what happens between MediaWiki having the Postgres on the back end and before and after, I'm going to add a little verify in here. Verify is just a shell, and it's going to shell and run this command. So what I'm just going to do is I'm going to get the endpoint for MediaWiki here, and I want to make sure I want to curl that endpoint, and I want to show what that's going to look like without the database on the back end there. Okay, just like that. Okay, we'll close that out. That looks good. And the final thing we want to do is I'm going to just stop this from going past bind, and I'm going to run the verify by hand, just to show the difference between before and after. Okay, so we're going to run this, and we'll come back when we get the first curl command. Okay, so we just had the first curl command run. So this is a look at MediaWiki, essentially just the template that is MediaWiki. And you can see, let me scroll down there, so you can see like just that it's a blank template. This is just what MediaWiki provides before there's anything even backing it. So you can see there's just a MediaWiki image that comes with it, and nothing else. It's pretty empty. So the bind is going to occur shortly here, once Postgres is up, and we're going to curl the MediaWiki endpoint again, and we're going to see something completely different now that the MediaWiki, well, once MediaWiki gets populated with all this data that it can add to Postgres, it's going to completely change this curl command. So we're going to see that result once this finishes. Okay, there's Postgres finishing up. Now the bind's going to occur, and then we're going to run our little verify script by hand. And once that completes, I'll show the result of the curl. Okay, we're going to run the verify. This is just going to verify the bind. MediaWiki just needs to process the new credentials that are being passed into it, and it needs to restart, and then it's going to contact Postgres and populate it with all sorts of data. Okay, so the bind has been completed, and MediaWiki has now found Postgres. So we're going to curl that web page, and here's what we get. Completely different look at MediaWiki. We have a fully populated MediaWiki template now. You can see that now that there's Postgres on the back end and MediaWiki can actually store some data, we have a whole different set of, a whole different result from curl. We have menus and all sorts of other things that are now going to be taken up by this MediaWiki page. And so we're just going to do one more thing. Okay, so here are the pods. You can see MediaWiki, Postgres. Those are running. So next is the deprovision and the unbind. And all I need to do is edit my config again. So I'm going to go back in here and comment all this out, and we're going to do the unbind and the deprovision, and that's all we need. Okay, and we'll run this again, and we'll be back when everything has been cleaned up. Okay, MediaWiki and Postgres have been deprovisioned, and the unbind has occurred. You can see this was just a curl command, which is going to fail now. Okay, so everything has been cleaned up, and this completes the demonstration. If you want to try this for yourself, you can check out the Ansible Service Broker repo and the Source Catalog repo. The links for them will be in the description. Feel free to try them out and create some issues, leave some feedback, and contribute some code. Thanks for listening.